Hey everybody, I'm Austin Scott with Scott Trot, and thank you for joining us on the 6th episode of the Paddock Party tonight. So I have a guest that's been making a lot of headlines over about the last week and a half or so, and I'm really excited to talk to him and see what the latest with those are. And for those of you that maybe didn't even know about it, we'll let you in on the news also. So it should be a pretty exciting show. Todd Luther is my guest, so we'll be bringing him on here in a little bit. I want to appreciate you guys for tuning in here. We already have Dalton Walls and Tabitha Betts watching, Terry Henry, Mike Raw. Thank you guys for tuning into the Paddock Party. Appreciate you guys joining me. I see a lot of your names every Wednesday night, it seems, so I'm very thankful for that, and appreciate all your support for the Paddock Party here so far. So, like I said, we'll be bringing Todd on here in a little bit. And if you have a question for Todd Luther tonight, make sure you comment it here on the video, and I'll ask him at the end of the show in our open questions segment. So that'll be a lot of fun also. So what are you guys up to on your Wednesday night? So for me, just was out at the barns earlier this evening, feeding and stuff like that. Got back, had some dinner, and then got things set up for Todd here. So let me know what you guys are up to. And let me know what you've been thinking of the shows here lately. So again, tonight, this is our 6th episode. So we've had some really awesome guests so far. Chris Presley on my first episode. We had Sean Barker. We had Tyler Smith. We had Brady Galliers. We had Tyler Rush last week. And then, like I said, this week we're bringing on Todd Luther. So it should be a pretty good show. So I appreciate it. Again, let me know. Thank you guys for tuning in here. And again, let me know how your Wednesday is going. And again, if you have a question for Todd Luther, leave it below. So Joey Putnam tuning in. Thank you, Joey. Appreciate it. Kevin Slawbaugh. Sorry if I messed up your last name there, Kevin. Thanks for tuning in, though. Sandy Edelberg's watching. Carrie McCrill's watching. Awesome. I appreciate it very much, guys. Jenny Ignarski tuning in, a weekly viewer. What's up, Jenny? You and Tim checking it out on the TV here tonight. So appreciate you guys supporting me and joining in as always too. So let me check a couple things here on our technical end. So we did a test run before the show. So fingers crossed, everything should go smoothly tonight. Okay. Perfect. Good deal. Jenny Ignarski tuning in. Tony Holler tuning in too. What's going on, Tony? Another frequent viewer of the show. Really appreciate it. Julie Fagan also watching. Thank you, guys. So again, we'll get started with Todd here sometime about 5-6 minutes or so after 8. We'll let you guys kind of join in before I get the show started. So Ben Hollingsworth tuning in. Brittany Nicole are watching also. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And again, our open questions segment will be at the end of the show for Todd Luther here. So if you have something for him, leave it down below and we'll ask him. Jay Burkholder, Nicholas Turley watching. Thank you, guys. Should be a good show, Tony. So we'll see how rough people are here with Todd tonight on the questions and all that stuff. So Brady Galliers and Tyler Rush had it really rough the last couple of weeks. And when I was talking with Todd before we went on air and during our test run, he was already pretty, anxious to see what people would be saying. So Micah Burkholder's watching. Billy Farmer, Richard Cooper, thank you guys for tuning in on your Wednesday night. Really appreciate it. Curtis Grismore, Kathy Lays, Roy Wilson are watching. Thanks, guys. Check another thing here real quick. Just had to check a couple things. Henry Graber Jr. Henry, how do you say your last name, bud? I'm sorry. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Diane Crossman, Tim Ignarski tuning in. Thanks, Tim, another weekly viewer. Appreciate it, buddy. He said he thought it was Tyler Rush Part 2 tonight. We are not doing a Tyler Rush Part 2, but I tell you what, Todd Luther has some guts to come on the show immediately following Tyler Rush. So he was the only one that was willing to stand in there and try to follow up that performance. So hopefully we can deliver tonight. Jeff Smith and Cameron McCown are watching. How are you guys doing? Hope all is well. Cameron, how are things going for you, man? Driving at Miami Valley and stuff here this winter. Jonathan Henry and Kiera Morgan are watching. Awesome, appreciate it. We wouldn't miss it. Well, thank you, Jenny. I appreciate it. So we'll get rolling here real soon. And like I said, if you have a question for our guest Todd Luther tonight, make sure you drop it below and we'll ask him at the end of the show. There we go. Graber, it's a long A. Thank you, Henry. Appreciate it. Levi Bontrager's watching. Carl Conti Jr. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. So it sounds like we should be ready to bring in our guest. Let me fix one thing. Bring in our guest, Todd Luther, tonight from the Luther Stable and Black Magic Racing. So he's been making a lot of headlines over the last couple weeks with purchases of Grand Circuit horses and trying to amp up his stable for the 2021 season. So we're going to talk about some of those new purchases, the pressure that goes with spending that much on horses and trying to step up to the Grand Circuit level. We'll talk about then how he got his start in training to begin with, what keeps him coming back to the horses, and then also we'll talk a little bit about maybe some of the harder to manage horses in his stable, including one of them that was my favorite to watch on the fair circuit this year. So let me see if we can get Todd dialed in here. I'm going to bring Todd Luther onto the show. Let's see. There we go. Perfect. Just got to adjust my camera a little bit here. Todd, and we'll get started, my friend.
There we go.
Let me see here. Awesome. Well, hey, we got it worked on the first try, so that's always a good thing. I got to check.
That's right.
Check here on my end and make sure our audio and stuff is good here real quick, and then we'll get things started, my man. Let's see. I already commended you for the guts to come on here and follow Tyler Rush's episode, so I really appreciate you doing that as well.
It's hard to follow up the old TR.
Yes, it definitely is. Definitely is. So, well, cool. Well, Todd, can you rearrange your camera a little bit too so we can see more of you on your end? There we go. That's perfect.
We'll try.
That's perfect. Well, awesome, man. Well, hey, we'll launch into things again. Appreciate you being on the show here. And for those people that maybe are living under a rock, there's been a lot going on with your stable here over the last week or so. So if you can kind of tell the people that are watching here tonight what happened last week, and then we'll get into a couple of big purchases that were made this week.
Well, starting all around Jug Week, my brother said we're going to go big time, and I said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "You'll see." And come around the sales, he made me see. He bought every horse anybody in the barn wanted, the ones I wanted, the ones he wanted. And last week he texted me. He said, "Hey, I just bought you 2 Grand Circuit horses." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Catch the Fire and his brother." You giggle. I laughed. I said, "Yeah, right, whatever," because he's always. And sure enough, he got it done. So that was something. And then yesterday, a couple days ago, he said, "I'm going to the Meadowlands sale. Who do you like, Chief Mate or Captain Kirk?" I said I like both, but Chris Page and everybody said Chief Mate's better. I said I kind of like Kirk, and I was watching the sale, and the next thing I know, he calls me and says, "Well, you got both."
That's got to be two phone calls you really don't get every day, as far as the purchase of Catch the Fire and his brother Captain's Place, and then this week getting the call that Captain Kirk and Chief Mate are coming into your barn. So that's got to be pretty cool.
Very cool and stressful. I don't sleep much here lately.
Hey, that was going to be my next question, man. I mean, between all the yearlings that Greg bought in the fall sales, and now these four, potential Grand Circuit horses in the last week or so, what kind of pressure is on you right now, and how many of them are actually, I guess, in the barn as we speak, or where's the progress with that?
There's a lot of pressure. So we learned from some of the best. I did, at least, and I think that's why he put some of my pressure on. A couple years ago, I helped Brian Brown and learned a lot there. Sat behind a lot of nice horses, done well, working on a mystery, Air Force, Hanover, horses like that. And he said, "Let's do it." And I said, "All right." So they're all in the barn right now. The two boys just showed up, Kirk and Chief Mate. Catch a Fire, I just took to Sugar Valley. He's going to start, doing his stud duty, and he'll be training here shortly, starting to back jogging. Captain's Place, he's been jogging, so we're ready to rock.
Good deal, man. That's pretty awesome. So that's the big news surrounding your stable here. And again, I want to thank everybody for joining in with our guest Todd Luther and I. So backtracking a little bit, Todd, you've already talked about this recent news. You talked about helping Brian Brown, but let's take it back to the start. Kind of let people know a little bit about yourself as far as where you were raised and grew up, and how you got your start in harness racing.
I'm a Columbus native, so I grew up in Columbus. My brother was in it before he went and started the real estate, and we're half brothers. So, but his grandpa, which I called my grandpa, was in it. Well, I've been going to the races since I was little. My grandpa worked for John Robinson was his name. He worked for Regal, and not many people said a bad word about him. And I learned a lot from him and, my brother over the years, and just kind of couldn't get out of it. So
Absolutely. So, I mean, at what point are you going from just being a fan to where you're actually, getting to be around the horse? Something
I was a fan.
From the
Let me see here. I don't know what's going on here. There we go.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead, Todd.
Oh, I'm lagging like crazy.
Uh-oh. Let's try something. Yeah. Hey, we'll try to get Todd's technical errors worked out here real quick, and we'll be back on. So if you can just hang with us here a second, guys, and I'll see if it's something on my end or what we have going on here real quick. Let's see. Here we go. Apologize for that, guys. We'll get this worked out. Just want to see if we can get things worked out, if it's a Wi-Fi problem or what happened there on that end. But thank you guys for being patient with us here, and we'll try to get you back on. Sounds like Todd can get things going here again, so let me see. Give it a shot. Let's see. Trying to see if I can get him added in here, and it's not showing up. So apologize, guys. Hang in there. We'll be back on here in no time. So we do a test run, but sometimes things, the longer we go on, can get a little messed up. So we'll get it fixed. Let's see. There we go. let's see if we can get Todd added back in here. There
I
we
think we're
go.
back. There.
Okay, perfect. Well, cool. Well, sorry for the delay, guys. And yeah, Todd, if you can, the question I kind of left off on was, when did you go from maybe just being a fan, or maybe you were around the horses at an early age, but when did you really start getting to work with them?
I was always in it. Right out of high school, I kind of decided to. Uh, I was 18, working around the barn with my grandpa, and then I kind of got thrown in it full time. It's kind of upsetting, but not upsetting. But I get my grandpa. He was one of the toughest. John was, and one day we were jogging, and he come in and said his stomach was hurting. He goes to the doctor, end up having stomach cancer,
Oh,
and right after that, my brother said, "There's 15 horses there. I need you." So I kind of got thrown right into it.
huh.
So
Wow. Yeah, I guess so. So that was going to be kind of my next question, really, is at what point did you ever drive the horses and races and stuff, or were you primarily working as a trainer and behind the scenes, or what was your career path kind of like with that?
I was more training, and when I went with Brian, he had an old horse Gabe Pruitt owned, a baby, a 2-year-old, and bus 936. So I drove him around the fairs a little bit, and that was about the extent. Him and a filly I owned with a buddy of mine, we drove around the fairs, but no raceway driving. That's not me. I leave it to them. I leave it to the big boys.
There you go. So really, was there something that did make you want to become a trainer, or was it something you're working towards, or were you mentioned you were just kind of thrown into it, but did you have plans of getting into it?
uh, yes and no, but I always liked it. When I was little running around there, it was always something I was always interested in, watching them. And if nobody's ever done it and you jog or you train one or drive one, it's a thrill of a lifetime. It is an adrenaline rush like no other.
It's a lot of fun getting my feet wet in it and stuff starting this past fall, and it's been a lot of fun with me and a guy here where I'm from. It's given me the time to work with him, Tim Ignarski, so that's a lot of fun. So for you then, what was the operation like starting out? So where were you guys stabled when you took them over? And then you mentioned you had 15 heads starting out. How did that all work?
Uh, for the longest, my brother had horses at the Greenville Fairgrounds with Dark County there with my grandpa, and then he moved to Scioto, and we kind of that's where I started, was Scioto Downs there, and we went from Scioto to Delaware. We've been everywhere, so now we're down here at Virgil's and Winters, just south of Scioto.
Okay, gotcha. So starting out for you, did you have an ownership stake in any of the horses you were training, or did your brother own a lot of them? How did that work?
He pretty much owns everything. He's not a big partner fan, so I think out of all the ones he's ever owned, with Catch the Fire is probably one of the first partners he's had. So,
That's
and
I remember.
I've owned one with him or here and there, just for the heck of it, but just like little fair horses, nothing major.
Gotcha. So for you starting out then, and again, you kind of got thrust into it at an early age. What were some of the struggles for you starting out?
Everything, everything. So this business is you are always learning. You will never stop learning. So there's something new, something that somebody's tried that you should try, or you've tried that nobody's tried. So it's definitely a learning experience. The hardest, I think, was rigging. I think rigging and shoeing is always your biggest things. If you can't, no foot, no horse, and if you can't go straight, you can't go fast.
Absolutely. So good words to train by right there for sure. So then for you, you're thrust into it, really a lot of unknowns to begin with, and you're kind of learning as you go. But when did you get that first training win, and what was that like for you?
When I took over, my grandpa until he got sick and passed. He stayed down as trainer, and I would ask him or Greg. When I was on my own, he was down as trainer, and it was at Northfield. Was the real me was her name, Little Cheap Claiming Mare. But when I finally went out on my own, and it was Hoosier Park was my first win, Matt in America with Todd Warren, and so that was pretty exciting.
Nice. That's pretty cool. So, so your first win came at a raceway and not at a fair then?
Yep, Northfield Park. I'll never forget it. The real me was her name.
That's pretty cool. Well, good deal. Going trying to go right to the top out of the get go. So
That's right.
that's pretty cool. So, at what point after you're getting some wins under your belt and stuff like that, at what point did you really start to feel it in yourself that it's like, hey, I can make it in this business and really be a success in it. I can do this.
Well, I mean it takes a while. It's a lot of learning. It's a struggle. You got to work hard, put your head down and go to the grind. It's long, hard days.
Absolutely. So, to kind of put a timeline together, then, you're fresh out of high school and you're doing this around like what year was that? And then, when were you picking up that first win at Northfield and Hoosier Park and that kind of stuff?
Oh 04, oh 05, right around then. So then we was at Hoosier for a while, and then came back here, and it's pretty much history. We're Ohio people. We like to stay here in the state.
Hey, absolutely, man. So your stable has transitioned, moved a lot of places. Again, you talked about Greenville, Scioto, Delaware, and now you're at Virgil Morgan's training center. So for you, what was it like moving over to Virgil's place, and how many horses did you start out with there?
I kind of took the stable back. Unfortunately, me and my brother had a little falling out, and then he asked me if I wanted to come back, and I said yeah. So it was, what was it, about 2 summers ago, we took over. I took back over, and everything was pretty much here, and I just took back over, and it's been fun ever since.
Absolutely. So how many horses are you guys up to now after all the fall sales and then some of the purchases over the last couple of weeks?
Too many, but we're selling some now. But right now, I got 50 in the barn. Well, 50. I got a couple at Northfield with Jason Thompson that's helping me out. Tony Dale keeps telling me to quit buying horses, but I'll tell her over this. She unfortunately don't know there's another one on the way that we bought today.
Well, there we go. We got some more breaking news right on the show. So I appreciate you sharing that with us here, Todd. So that's pretty cool. So again, over 50 horses and stuff in your stable. So for you personally, what is your daily schedule like?
We get up in the morning, get to the barn, and get right at it. I Tony does a lot. She's the backbone of the operation. She gets my training schedules ready for the grooms. Helps me put the sets in order for babies and training. And I got we got a good crew, and she does a lot. So train days, it's a long days, and jogging, we try to be out of there by 1 o'clock. So.
Gotcha. So how does that get affected, for example, on a night that you have to race, whether it's at a fair during the week or maybe at one of the raceways? Do you get started earlier? Do you, take off? Maybe you get done earlier to take off and go to the track. How does that work for you?
Yeah, we get up earlier on days that you got to leave early. The good thing about Virgil's is a lot of them guys there are racing usually at the same place as we are. So a lot of us like to share rides and catch rides with each other. So that really helps. That comes into play a lot.
Okay, gotcha. Well, good deal. So for you right now at your stable, how many people do you have helping you that are employed?
Uh, 8, I believe. I think we got 8, including myself. So that's pretty fun and exciting.
Okay, so how many? I mean, how many? That's about what, five, 6 horses a person then, roughly, that they're taking care of each day. Is that how it
Uh,
works?
You, no, some of them take care of more. I don't know why, but it's so hard to find help anymore these days. So Tony's got a bunch. It just kind of depends on what they feel comfortable with and what I kind of think they can handle.
Okay, gotcha. So I have seen some of the posts on Facebook trying to find some stall cleaners and maybe an extra
Yes,
groomer rider in there. So if you're watching and have some experience and want to join Todd, it looks like you could get signed up for an interview here pretty quick, I think.
and any day,
And,
can start tomorrow.
well, good deal. So of the 8 people, including yourself, how many, I guess, grooms or caretakers, riders, how many of each is it? Or, is it something where all 8 people seem to do all those duties?
Got me and 3 other riders, and then we got what I got five grooms, I think. So they all vary. So some take care of 8, some 9, some 10. So it's not too terrible right now. Most of them stay around 7. With them not doing much training, the babies, it's makes it way easier. But when we start going hard, it's long days.
Full tilt for sure. So what are the duties of your grooms then? So when they roll into the barn each day, what does their schedule look like with their horses?
Get them joggers. You get their stalls done, get them ready. Water buckets, feed tubs. Make sure they're clean and ready to go. On train days, we give them a weekly train sheet, early in the week, so they know what horses are training what days and who's taking them, times and everything like that, whether they're in sets or not. So it's pretty straightforward. We learned that from being with Brian Brown. So way easier, way easier to manage it when you can give them papers.
Yeah, that's I saw that. I think it was maybe last week. Brian Brown's stable had posted that on their Facebook page. Some of the schedules and which person was assigned to each horse and stuff like that, and a roster of everybody they had training down in Florida. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then also, if you're somebody that has horses with Brian and stuff, that would really give me the sense that things are really well organized. And it's pretty cool to see that you've taken that from your time with Brian. So that's pretty cool. So. One of the things I want to talk about as far as, you have a lot of expenses being a trainer, you have a lot of employees working under you, a lot of horses going a bunch of different directions. And a lot of times for somebody that owns a horse, their training bill can kind of really add up, or it can be a big number to them. So for you, what are some of the expenses that are included in training your horses that maybe some owners or outsiders might not know that you're, paying?
A lot. Not as much as some of them big state, but roughly, I'd say my expenses are anywhere from 7 to 8,000 a week.
Oh, wow. Okay. And
So
is that just total or per horse, or how does that work?
they get paid per horse. The grooms get paid per horse. Feeds involved, hay. Uh, I don't have to pay so much. I don't pay for the fuel and stuff. I got a Black Magic card, so I don't pay for none of that. So he
Gotcha.
does all that. Lasix, paddocks, things like that. So
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, there's a lot of expenses that are buried in that bill that maybe an owner or something would have to pay each month. But and that was something too. When I was first looking into this, I didn't realize just how much money was going out of the trainer's pocket. You may be giving them 40, $50 a day, whatever it may be, but then a lot of that is going into feeding and taking care of the horse and some other expenses too. So for example, also, let's just say I'm a new owner or somebody that's trying to get into the sport. How would you recommend I get into ownership? Would you maybe recommend people go more the route of claimers and stuff like that to where they can instantly start go racing, or maybe get a yearling where it's something fresh and new and you can kind of start with a blank slate? What would you recommend to me as an owner?
I just kind of think it's what you would prefer, whether you'd want the right now money or sit and hope for a good one. I've stuck with it for years, and I don't think what people realize is the cheapest part of this business is buying a racehorse. That's the cheapest part. Then you got your daily expenses. I mean, claimers, you race the next week, you don't have to pay starting fees, staking fees. You know, you don't have to wait 6, 7 months to hope your horse makes it and hope they're a good horse. Uh, you know, you know what you get when you have a claimer or you buy a horse. Babies, they got it or they don't. You just hope they got it.
Right, absolutely. So for you, that's if somebody was just like I laid out that question for you, you know, just kind of explain both sides of it, and then at that point, the owner can kind of make a decision on their own. Then,
Yeah, that's what I would say. I just depends on what you're looking for. You know, if you're looking for right now money or the long haul and watching your horse develop and grow up and be there from day one.
gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so good deal there. So right now, again, you said 50 horses in your stable. Are those? Did you say those were all owned by your brother in Black Magic Racing, or do you have horses that other people own?
All but one. All but one. That's a Catch the Fire. That's the other one that's in there. So he basically says if you know, he wants to be the only one in the barn, and he said if we don't have one for the class, go buy it. So
There you go. Okay, gotcha. Good,
he
good
makes
deal.
my job easy.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding, man. I was gonna say there's probably a lot of other trainers that wish they were in your position, but then maybe when that pressure starts mounting up, maybe they wish they weren't. So
It is. I got you know, within the last few weeks, I've gotten 3, 4 horses thrown in the barn that I hope they continue to be what I know they can be, and there's trainers that wait a whole lifetime to get one of them, and I've been very lucky and fortunate enough to have 3 or 4 of them, hopefully.
gotcha. So this is kind of off topic, off of our question sheet and stuff I sent you, but what is you already mentioned Catch the Fire is going to, I believe it was Sugar Valley to get stud duty and stuff started up. But for Captain's Place, Captain Kirk and Chief Mate, what are their schedules now that they're in your barn kind of look like? Are they going to be off for a while until the big stakes season picks up, or what is the outlook for them?
Um, yeah, so Catch the Fire, he's going up to Sugar Valley for a couple weeks. You know, teaching just to mount right. After that, he'll start back. I'll get with Charlie and Greg. He'll start back. I plan on leaving him there at Delaware with Jess and Cam McCowan until maybe Brian gets back, so he can. Brian said he'll help me up there. That's long. I got to keep him up there. He's got to be at Sugar Valley from 9 to 1, 4 or 5 days a week.
Oh wow, okay.
So for him, Captain's Place, he got shoes put on earlier this week. He's been jogging for, you know, or last week he's been jogging. The 2 boys showed up, Kirk and Chief Mate. Chief Mate just qualified last week, so he's actually ready to race.
Oh wow,
So
okay.
he's, you know, he hasn't raced since the jug, so Tony got him ready, and he's he he's been he's been good that way. Told me anything we need and all that. Kirk, he jogged today for the first time. We gotta look at a few more things on him. You know, he had a surgery in December, so I just kind of jogged him to take a little of the funk out of him,
Mhm.
and we'll go from there. So we'll shoot for hopefully get them all racing by June, the other 3.
Okay, gotcha. So, okay, I was gonna ask, is this Chief Mate close to racing, and if so, where would you guys put him at?
He's going to, I'll train him later this week, and he should hopefully get in at Miami Valley next week. We'll put him in down there.
Okay, probably one of the open events, or what are you guys thinking? You have any?
No, he fits actually a non-winners of 8 down there, so
Oh
he can go.
wow.
Yeah, so he can go in there for. I was going to qualify him again. I actually talked to Greg today. I asked him. I said, "What do you want to do?" He said, "We can qualify him or race him." And he said, "We can race for money and, you know, just try to get him tight, or we can qualify him." I said, "Well, we'll probably just throw him in."
There. Well, good deal, man. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be exciting next week. So, for you, one of the next questions I had looking forward to 2021 here. Would you have any exciting 2-year-olds that you have coming up this season? So there was a lot of first crops from Down by the Seaside, Fear the Dragon, What the Hill, Long Toms, and some others. What are some exciting ones that you guys have in your barn? You don't have to maybe mention specific names or anything if you don't want to, but what are you most excited for?
Hopefully all of them. I think we got 20. I think of the 50, 21 or 22 of them are babies. So
Okay.
that makes it exciting. I got a variety of everything. I got some Sweet Lou colts that I really like. One I really, really like. He's a brother to Dancing Yankee and
Wow.
Dancing Lou. I got a some beach colt. He's I've said, like I mentioned earlier, set behind Brian's, done well in mystery, and he's right now. It's very early, but he's on that level. I think he's super smart colt. We got trotters. I think I ended up with 6 Seasides. I like them all. The the one I really like. There's a filly and a colt. I really like. We got. People might get mad at me for saying this. I got a What the Hill I really love. And I got a What the Hill that I actually put pace and hobbles on because that's all she wants to do. So, we got some Uncle Peters, we got my MVPs, we got Seasides, we got a mixture of everything. Well said. So we got them all. So hopefully, I think we ended up with I think I have 4 out of state breds and the rest are Ohio.
Okay. So, for example, with some of the out of state breds that you have and stuff, how does that work if, for example, you try to race them maybe on the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes tour or something like that? Are you going to be traveling to all those legs and races, or would you be able to send them to somebody, or how does that work?
Well, it's all, me and Greg's talked when we did it. It's all new to us. So, I mean, I know it's a lot of traveling. My team, I think we can get it done. Tony Dale's been on the road with Brian's horses. She took care of Down by the Seaside and horses like that. So I have all faith in her if I need to send her on the road, I don't have anything to worry about. I
Okay.
plan on going to as many as I can because I know if I'm out of the state, that my crew here will be able to handle it.
Absolutely. Well, cool, man. So I'm excited and looking forward to that as well for you. So far for you in your career, what has been your best season and why?
Last year, I'd say was my best by far. I think I made close to 500,000. Even with the COVID, and we're hoping this year will be even better. We had a lot of fun at the fairs last year. It's nice that Greg's gotten some upper condition horses that makes your bankroll go up better. And I did it all. I've had claimers, I've had babies, and we've had condition horses, and I'd rather have condition horses because your horse. Claimers, it's so hard. They get passed around so much. You don't. It's hard. They're in a different barn every week, and different feed, different training, everything. So I'd rather keep these condition horses so you know what you're getting.
Absolutely. So 2020, your biggest season so far. Did your biggest win of your career come during last year, or what was that?
We won a lot of races last year, but I'd probably say in 19, I won a Buckeye race at Delaware. That was pretty exciting. You cry when I fly by. That was fun. So hopefully we got some bigger ones this year. We've won opens and things like that, but it's always Delaware. There's a one that always stick out in your head.
Oh, absolutely. So that's pretty cool getting a win down there. So, also so far in your career, what have been some of your favorite horses that you've gotten to train and why?
I've seen that one. That question when you sent it to me. That one's going to be tough. I got a handful. I mean, I had
Yeah,
horses
and
with.
you can. Yeah, you don't have to single just one out,
I've
but if you
had
want to talk about a
I've had
handful.
horses when I worked with Brian that you just look forward to every day, like the ones I mentioned earlier. Air Force, done well, working on a mystery. That bus 936. Brian let me pretty much do everything I wanted with him. He was my boy, and He was cool. But for my favorites, I'd have to say I had an old claimer. He was a world champion as a younger CPW. He was one of my favorites. I'd say CPW, LA Raider. He was way back in the day, and a horse named Midwest Hanover.
Okay, man, that's a pretty awesome list of horses you've gotten to sit behind and stuff. So that's pretty cool. But on the flip side of that, maybe what have been some of your horses that have given you some of the most headaches? One of them, I have a feeling that I talked about in the intro to the show, was one of my favorites on the fair trail this year, was Never Pop the Plugs. Is he one that maybe makes on your list of those horses that made you want to pull your hair out some days, or kept you up sleepless some nights?
Uh, every day. That horse there is there is he's going to do what he wants to do. You're not stopping it. But he had a little break. He's been training back. He'll be back soon. People laugh at me, but he's probably one of the fastest horses I've trained. It's just he don't know how to manage it. He's so hard on himself. He's a few fries short of a Happy Meal. And the problem horses this year, Tony's got a horse that she takes care of that she begged my brother to buy at Lexington, a 2-year-old Seaside. He has boards down every day in his stall. He is a complete maniac. He loves to play, bite, kick walls. He's got cones. He's got toys. So and I just, speaking of ones that were hard, Captain Kirk got there yesterday. I went in messing with him, went to take his halter off, and I don't think I'm going to call him Kirk no more. I'm going to call him Conor McGregor.
Oh no.
Yeah, he come up swinging, so he's a little light on the front end, so he might be a problem.
Oh my God. I was gonna ask you, yeah, what the first day, I guess, with them was like, and what you kind of did with them the first time having them in the barn. So I guess that answers that for sure. So what'd you say the game plan was again for Never Pop the Plugs? He's still going to be a part of your stable, and probably, I mean, what conditions does he still fit?
He's a homebred, so it's very hard for my brother to get rid of homebreds. I gave him a little break towards the end of the season. We fought him around those fairs. Towards the end of the season, he did not like it. He was starting to resent them, and gave him a little break. He's actually been training really, really good. He fits non-winners of 4 still, so I'm gonna try to get him
Okay.
ready for that non-winners of 4 series coming up at Miami Valley.
Well, good deal. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. It's easy for me to be excited about him racing because I don't have to take care of him every day. So
Hey, listen, if you're ever around Virgil's, come jog him. Trust me, you'd have fun with him. He's crazy. I'm telling you, I'd send my kid out to jog him, and she's 12. So, but when the hobbles and stuff go on, and he sees a starting car, a light goes off.
I might have to take you up on that sometime. That'd be pretty exciting. So is he a big bad John, or what is he?
Yep, yep. He's a big bad John out of one of my brother's mares that he's had the whole family. He bought her, and he's bred a bunch of them to her. He's by far the fastest one. We got a sister. She's coming along okay. And then we have she's a McCardle, and then we have a Pet Rock brother this year.
Oh, okay. Good deal, man. That's pretty cool. So you mentioned cones, and is that for like biting? I guess I've seen that before, but I never really realized what cones were for.
We was in TSC one day. Tony said, "I'm buying these things some cones, just like a toy, just
Okay.
parking cones." And I think about every one of hers have them, and they're swinging them things around all day long.
That's funny. Okay. I always wondered what that was about. I didn't know, yeah, if it was a chew toy or what exactly I guess it was used for. So backing off and to let people know maybe more of the personal side of you, Todd. So you're on the road a lot, especially this year when you're hitting a lot of fairs across Ohio and stuff. So for you, what is your drive to the track like? So do you like to blare music, or what is your vibe and attitude heading to the track?
Uh, it's pretty relaxed, until I get there. Then that when it works, but um, I jam out to it's either Eminem or old country music, and I get my little one when she's with me rips me. She says, "Turn on country music." I said, "This is real country." She thinks the new stuff. I said, "This isn't country." So,
Hey man, I agree. What is some of the old country and stuff you're listening to? Who do you like?
oh man, I go to when I'm on Pandora like George Strait Radio and old stuff like that, and if I'm in shipping, that usually listen to like what is it, the 58 or whatever it is, the 80s, 90s country music.
Gotcha. Yeah, good stuff, man. So that's really good. And then also, we talk a lot about all the work that goes into this business, and I'm sure you don't have many days off, but if there's a chance you do get maybe a day off or a night off from just the racing part of it, what do you like to do?
Uh, relax, and try to cook a home cooked meal and just relax. And when we're home, we usually thinking about what to do the next day for or making a training sheet, or I'm thinking what to do with this horse or that horse to make them better, or what I need to do. How I woke up in the middle of the night last night, just I knew them new horses were here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, so it's a
Well, cool. Well, so for you, I mean, you have those rare days off, but what is it that keeps you itching to come back to the horses? What keeps you interested in them, and what do you like most about them?
the thrill of winning. It never gets old, whether it's a fair race going for 3,000 or winning an open pace. It's definitely a thrill. It'll make you keep coming back. You win one, you'll want to win more. That's for sure.
That seems to be a pretty common answer I've gotten on that question too, so that's pretty good. So we have almost all of the questions here wrapped up. One more, and then we'll go into our open question segment. I haven't been able to
That'll
check
yeah,
this.
that'll be. I haven't really looked, but that'll definitely be interesting, I bet.
I was gonna say I didn't know if people were giving you a hard time like Brady and Tyler were and stuff or not. So I'll check that out here in a minute. But one of the questions before I get to that was, for someone that's like me, that's newer to the sport, and I'm doing some stuff as far as cleaning stalls and jogging and maybe going on some training miles and stuff like that. So what advice do you have for me if I want to try to get into training someday?
You're on the right track. My grandpa always told me something. Uh, in the barn, you learn more with your mouth shut. So listen to people, and before I even got to start jogging, I had to clean a stall, know what equipment, harness a horse, get it ready right, and go from there, wrapping legs and everything. Just being around it every day will make it easier. I mean, you're always, like I said earlier, you're always going to learn in this business. It's never ending.
So learn better with your mouth shut. I need to make sure I write that one down. So I
That's
feel like
right.
I already follow that a lot, and yeah, there's far more to be learned by listening and stuff too. So
That's
that's
right.
good. So we'll get into the open question segment here, Todd. Let me
This,
see if
yeah, yeah, this will be interesting.
yeah, I'm sure it
I do
will.
see Mitch was saying that Tony's the boss of everything. So,
Let me see here. Um, Let me check it out. I did see a couple here on my laptop portion of it. Let me see. Okay, so we do have a question from Richard Cooper. Let me see if I can get his question pulled up here. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with it. But he asks, many owners purchase claimers. Realistically, what percentage of horses claimed actually deliver greater value than the previous? I can't see the. Oh, let me see. Deliver than the previous owner and improve.
you, claimers, you pretty much know what you're getting. Like, I mean, you know what you're racing for. You claim one for 10, most likely it's going back in for, 10. It's with the money now to what they go for, go claim the best one and put them back in the same class. If they win, you can make 4 or 5,000 in a week. But claim game makes this business go round. I claimed a horse for $5,000 up at Buffalo a couple, many moons ago when Chris Page and I went up there, and everybody up there laughed at me. And 6 weeks later, he was winning the Open. So.
Oh wow, big
Yeah.
turnaround. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a good return on investment there. And yeah, we did have a question from Mitchell Cushing. Said who packs a harder hit, Connor or Kirk? So
I'm going to say Kirk does for sure. I went flying. I think I got a 5-gallon bucket of water poured on me after how hard I hit that thing. While Tony's sitting there just laughing at me. I seen it coming. I said, thanks for the warning.
appreciate it. So did he come up and try to strike you, or what exactly
Oh yeah,
happened?
there was no trying. He struck me full on right in the stomach.
Oh my God, dude. Oh, I haven't had that experience yet, but it might be something coming down the road. Who knows? So cool. I think that is they took it easy on you this week, man. There was not much ball busting on the show this week, so that's
Yeah.
That's an improvement. They must have got it all out of their system with Brady and Tyler before.
Oh yeah, them guys, Brady for sure. We love picking on Brady. That's he takes it in stride. I see Lee Don put Scott's Rolls Royce. He is correct. That was a good old horse. I think he made 100 and some thousand that year.
Okay, is that one you had? I just saw that come across here. So
Yeah,
what's
that
the
was the
story
one
on
we claimed
Scott's
up there.
Rolls Royce?
That was the one I was telling you about where we claimed him and end up winning opens, and he raced in like the Rags of Riches at Tioga. He was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, a couple years after my brother had him, he snapped a damn cannon bone in the first turn to Buffalo. So
Oh man,
had to put him down.
well that's a shame. Well,
It's a tough
still
business. There's a lot of highs and there's a lot of lows. So you're just hoping more highs and lows. And
right.
that's what I'm hoping for this year. I'm either going to be a hero or a big old zero.
That's right. I'm hoping you're going to be on the high end of things, man. I'll definitely be rooting for you. So, you talked about 2021, and that's the perfect segue here to end our show. So, for you, what goals do you have for yourself in 2021 with all these new horses you have, and then what long-term goals, maybe 5 to 10 years out, do you have for yourself and your stable?
Oh, of course, we're going to try to go to all the big dances. I hope these ones my brothers bought and with Charlie that we have a lot of fun with these aged horses. I think we're on the right track by buying them. The babies, I think you might see some of the Seasides, and I don't have any dragons, but I think this year you'll see Ohio breds on the Grand Circuit. I haven't really set goals. Realistically, we'd like to make a couple million in purses and just win some of the big races and just be involved is everything. My brother did a write up with harness racing, and his goal is, and why he's invested so much money in babies, is he wants to race in a little brown jug. So we're hoping Captain's Place will get us there this year.
Well, awesome, man. So that's cool. And then project out a little bit. Do you have some stuff in mind for yourself, maybe 5 to 10 years down the road, also for your stable?
I hope we keep going strong. I think if we have a very good year, I think we can. I think we could go to the sales, and which we did this year. We bought every horse that we wanted, but I'd like to reach out in the PA and stuff. When you buy a Pennsylvania bred, you're not looking to buy sire stake horses. You're looking for the one hit wonder. So we're hoping we got a few of them this year. So down the road, I hope I can get on like a Brian Brown level and or like an Alanya. That's everybody's dream, to be on the big stage and to compete at that level. And it's going to be a new experience for me, but I hope we can get there.
Absolutely, man. So one last question, I guess I'll add. Do you have any Luther stable hats left over, or are those all gone from last season?
I got a few, and I just ordered a bunch more, so I'll have to get you one.
There we go, man. That'd be perfect. I'd really appreciate it. So I look forward to meeting you at the track here sometime, Todd. And I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. And again, I know you have a very busy schedule, so appreciate you carving an hour out for us here at Scott Trot. And from me, I'm going to be definitely in your guys' corner and rooting you on here heading into this summer and fall. And wish you guys a lot of success, man.
Hey, I need it, and I might call you one day to ride along with me to the Meadows or somewhere to Meadowlands, hopefully, and
Hey, there we
we can
go.
take a crew out there and have
Yeah.
some fun.
Hey, I'd be happy to. So thanks again, Todd. I appreciate it. I'll let you go here. And again, thanks a lot for your time.
Hey, thanks, buddy. We'll see you.
Hey, best wishes. See you, pal.
Bye.
Well, cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me on the 6th episode of the Paddock Party. And I am looking for a guest on the 7th episode, hopefully sometime next week. So if you have any suggestions or comments on who you think should be our next guest on the Paddock Party, please comment those and we'll try to reach out to them and see if we can get them on. But besides that, thank you guys for spending an hour of your Wednesday with me here on this episode. So really appreciate all the support I've been getting on all these videos. And if you don't mind, make sure you like the video and then share it with some of your harness racing fans so they can join us on the next episode of the Paddock Party. So thank you guys very much. Hope you have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you around hopefully on the next episode.